Blind Fiora. In Fiora's current state, not a huge fan.
Not a huge fan too, especially with the Vi here.
Yeah, Camille, okay. Camille going to be the choice.
Yeah, I like this a lot better with Vi. And you can obviously lock down the Illusion or the Azir. With really hard dive, you have the Lulu follow-up Wild Growth for Vi and Camille, which is going to give you an extra knockup. It'll be fun to watch Darius, but I don't think that is what we're going to be watching here in our regional qualifier in Game 3.
Okay.
Side laning power is immense, and Live Sandbox already have everything they need in terms of straight-up team fights and lockdown onto the front line of DRX. Catching the Zeri is going to be very difficult here, but with the Camille pick away from DRX, I like the Fiora and what it can do in a side lane. The problem is the volatility that this draft affords DRX means that if Fiora falls behind, Camille gets ahead, that side lane power is muted, and then you have the power of late game Zeri. And you've got good lockdown for the carries as well in this draft. Like, DRX's comp kind of does everything. It's good in the mid game, it's good in the late game, it's good for side laning as long as Kinga doesn't mess it up.
It's very strong. I feel like both sides got a lot of strong pieces, and then Fiora was picked. That's kind of the way I feel. I don't like putting Dove into kind of a crazy back and forth mechanics matchup, you know? Like, say what you want, you know, maybe Fiora's good in the lane, maybe it's good as a counter, but like, we haven't seen it proven that that has worked in the past, especially in this regional qualifier, like counter picking for top. So with picks like that, you know, I would have loved to see him go Gragas, say, okay, you know, Camille, you can do your thing, whatever. I'm going to be joining my team and just do the Dove thing. But it feels like they have moved away from that, and that has not led to success.
They have so much CC for the Zeri if they have the Gragas too, because they have obviously the ability to set up with a cask, and they have all sorts of follow-up. They have a Azir. If you can get the Zeri out of position, or you can just delete the front line, you feel amazing as Live Sandbox here. But I'm on the same page as you. I feel like this was a choice that Live Sandbox made that's wholly unnecessary in this draft. And Jack's another pick they could have gone for, but the same idea would have been very risky. Could have just gone for safety here and scaling. Not going to be the case.
Not the case. Live Sandbox throw the gauntlet here for game number 3. Let's hop onto the Rift. And when that Fiora was picked as well, we did have a gasp from the audience. I feel like the fans in general, they kind of get the reads as well. They watch a lot of games. They say, well, this Fiora has not had a lot of success. And I don't think the Live Sandbox fans very much liked it that much. So Dove's got some proving to do. I think he definitely, absolutely, surely does.
What's really cool about it, though, from a narrative standpoint, you know, sometimes at level 1s we have a fight. This time not going to happen. Just going to be a D4 here set up by Zeka.
First game.
Yeah. What I like about it is that it's an opportunity for Dove to prove himself against Kingen, right? And of the laners Dove could have faced off against, you know, in this going into this matchup today, like, could have been Rascal, would have been a much tougher opponent in terms of the 1v1. It's Kingen. Feels like a reasonable opponent. You know, it's like Kingen's not bad by any means, but he's not one of our better players in terms of especially aggressive picks like Camille in the lane. And it's an opportunity for Dove to say, you know what, I'm a top laner now. I'm no longer an adjusting mid lane. Like, you know what I mean? It's an opportunity for him to win this matchup with the help of Kroko and make a statement here going into Worlds. Like, because I know if Live Sandbox goes to Worlds, it's going to be on every analyst desk Live Sandbox plays. Like, yeah, Dove used to be a mid laner. It's going to be discussed so much. Everyone's going to be talking about, like, how is he going to stand up against some of these LPL top laners who have been playing for years, some of these LEC top laners have been playing for years. And now he gets to actually prove himself against Kingen here in this matchup, potentially with Fiora. High volatility in this lane. One wrong step, and your team could lose the game because of it, because of the side laning power both of these champions have the longer the game goes on.
Yeah, and, you know, as long as you keep your mentality about and you don't crumble under the pressure, like, maybe, as you're mentioning, like, it's a chance for Dove. If they lose, again, it's the top lane. It's not like you're letting Kalista go and picking Ezreal, DRX. So, you know, even
Whoa, shots fired.
Even if Dove does get kind of wrecked in this lane, so be it. He can kind of sit in the side lane. Maybe he'll be a factor later on in the game. Maybe he won't. Maybe they can rely on Prince and Kyle to get stuff going. Maybe Closer can carry this game. And perhaps strategically it's a read as well. Maybe Dove talked to the coach and he says, I don't know, Kingan's not really playing that well today. Maybe I can get the best of him this time. Give me a chance.
Let's not forget that in Game 1, he crushed the lane against Kingan on the Gnar into the Aatrox. So that was something that you absolutely can do, and a lot of top players have done, but it's not something you expect from Dove. And he's definitely on form tonight. So let's see how he does, you know, and it's just very fun to think about and very scary to think about as well, even if you're a Live Sandbox fan, you're like, this isn't your strong point. Pioshik.
Yep. Krako has prio pretty heavily from mid as big trade in the bottom side. Beryl in a lot of trouble, has to use flash and heal. Does not matter. It's Lucian Nami. And that's going to be the kill. Might be a second one or at least a flash or a barrier force. There's the barrier and the flash. And that is Prince and Kyle winning the bottom lane immediately.
Yep. That is not a good sign for the Zeri's longevity in this game, is losing a lot of farm here early. It wasn't even a cull start that Deft is sitting on. He went Doran's Blade, so it gets much worse from here, and there isn't a lot of reprieve anytime soon as Pioshik very sneaky.
That was... I think that was unspotted. They're pinging the wrong spot. Look at this. They have no idea. They have no clue. There's the Q used. Closer in a lot of trouble. Has to flash. And the flash comes in. Zeka tries to flash away from this one, but Closer is just dead meat, waiting for a shuffle. Don't know if he's got enough mana, as there's the red buff hit again. And there will be the follow-up Q as Pioshik. Very cute little play there.
Yeah, the shuffle on a pretty long cooldown too at that stage, and Dove here. Hold my tongue for just a second. Cannon battle going on here as Kingan wants that cannon minion, and Dove says he got it. Dove's ready. He's like, you messed that up, I'll riposte you. But yeah, that was a really nice play from Pioshik. He hides, goes over the wall there, and it's a really nice bait because Zeka's so incredibly low. Okay, we're not done down here. Woohoo!
Making it really annoying for Deft.
That's the most scary place to be against Tsunami, is between the turret and the wall, because it's a really easy shot to hit there if you time it correctly. This time, it's a very difficult one that he hits onto. Beryl just predicts Beryl's walk back there, and Prince just has the follow-up damage in this 2v2. If you get any CC, any edge, you are just going to crush. As the most important part of this is Pioshik is also missed, it looks like, by the Scryer's bloom that is set up there by Wukong. Like, he actually tries to Krako see if he's potentially there, and I think he's just out of vision of it. Either way, he gets over the wall without being seen. They bait it really well. Zeka's extremely low, but he's Silas has that extra lifesteal, and they force the kill.
Plants not always the bailout that you expect them to be. Not in this case. Very cute play from Pioshik, and you know, a very aggressive trade by Beryl. I think you have to flash the bubble, because if you get hit by the bubble, you're dead, like 100%. He needs to know that. Like, if he's gonna go that aggressively, and you see the bubble is coming out. But obviously, it's a game of microseconds at times. Not able to make the right decision here leads to a very nice lead for Prince and Kyle down there.
And bubbles usually aren't attempted quite like that, but they had the damage set up. Like, it's Illusion Lane where you can look for the force back on the Lulu, and she's kind of walking back towards the bubble. And if she doesn't walk back, like if she doesn't flash, she dies 100%. Because if you dodge the ball forwards, you die to Lucian damage. So you're in a catch-22. And like I said, the only option was to flash. Just not pulling the trigger fast enough.
Okay.
Kingan is getting kind of owned up here.
Trying to push and get that last minion. He'll teleport back. He has 3 biscuits, but Dove being very annoying.
Try to freeze this one and be frustrating once again.
Oh, there's the scoop at level 6 from Zeka. No flash here for the Azir as Krako in position. Closer getting so close to dying there. Nice little setup from the side of DRX. Not able to get the kill, but this is no teleport now for Closer. Krako gets poked out. Nice little win in the 2v2 for DRX.
Really do like the Oblivion Orb here for Closer, taking that one in early to try to shut down some of the healing. But with no flash here, he was an easy target on the follow-up. And, you know, we talked about how the top side can be volatile and Azir can get a lot of early prio, and Closer had it, but another bubble would hit. Electrocute gonna proc, and the mid lane here has just been about Pioshik. He's actually rotating over there essentially every time he clears to put threats onto Closer, so Closer isn't getting that prior advantage. The Azir has been on 12-14 with the nerfs to sustain, fillable potions and stuff like that Sylas is very reliant on into matchups like this. But now he's in full control of it. Things are looking very good in that regard as Dove up here on the top side will be catching a wave for the first time after that teleport came through from Kingen.
It's not every day you see Dove ahead, about 15, 20 CS. Pretty early on in the game as well, so just a pretty natural lead. The jungles have not visited the top lane at all. As now, 8 minutes in, considering a play on this Rift Herald, are both teams, it looks like.
Def confidently going bottom here, but Beryl is Lulu and doesn't have 6. So this is going to be a fight that they, if they're going to actually commit to it, they will be down an 80 carry. Def, of course, hasn't shown just yet, but Liv Sandbox, I think, have a lot of power going into this one. Emperor's Divide not quite up yet here for Closer. But I think with the group up here and with the show now of the Lucian, DRX know this is not their Herald to take. And Def's just going to keep pushing. See how many plates he can get, if any, on the bottom side as you see Prince starts coming over. Beryl?
That is a Lucian with Flash and 6. I feel like Prince is almost giving him the benefit of the doubt. He's like, there's no way he would just run into our jungle. Well, he did have Vi nearby, but not at that exact moment.
They're trying to get a blue buff out of this, like anything they can right now while they give over Herald.
Plate for Def too.
Yeah. Like, deleting some CS here for Prince. I like it. It was risky, and we've seen Beryl die in that exact same spot in this very regional qualifier on a different champion.
It's going to be 2 plates here.
2 plates, Gromp, and blue buff.
And it's solo for Zeri.
Yeah.
He's getting solo XP, solo gold on the plates.
Big win.
Big win there for sure. Obviously, you know, the Rift Herald, some of that gold does go over to Krako with the changes, but we'll see where he can get value on that one. Perhaps mid, although it has been a very contentious lane so far. Maybe just throw a bot with your winning lane. Not a bad idea.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think that's probably where we will see that placed. You could try to make a topside dive happen here with Krako now having level 6 against this Camille, but it feels like diving a Camille at this stage in the game is just asking for problems here. And Dove is already 20 CS ahead. He doesn't need any help up there. So I think the bottom side will be the name of the game, especially with Drake up. Like, we haven't actually discussed the fact that we're now cresting 10 minutes. It's a slower Drake on 12-14 coming through. It's Cloud as well, so not a high value one. Could group up for a fight there, then drop bottom side, have that extra pressure. Now that Closer has stemmed the bleeding here, his flash is back up. He's starting to trade aggressively here in this lane once again. I think Closer has handled this situation extremely well despite being picked, and as we say it,
he does have flash though, and is not going to commit to it, just waiting for the sweep after, but perfectly timed there from Zeka, still on the chase, and they will force the flash. Just about all they're going to get from that one as the Rift Herald is dropped in the bottom side. Culling does come out as well, lots of damage into Beryl, and it should be just the crash on in here.
Kind of, you know, the timing of this is great, obviously, with the commitment mid, and Closer gets out with his flash gone. He's going to teleport back mid, but will this be enough pressure here for DRX now with Pyosik rotating over to actually take this Drake? As Closer's going to struggle to actually get in here. Stops the back of Zeka. We'll have TP, but okay, looks like Liv Sandbox will actually just narrowly get enough control here. I was worried after Closer had to flash there and back. They wouldn't actually be able to take this Drake with the Herald, but they will get both plates and the Drake back here.
They're actually moving in, a couple of them. Beryl and Depth looking to potentially get frisky, fight over some vision, not able to get too much. Total control to Liv Sandbox in that bottom side of the river as we keep looking to the top lane.
Yeah.
Maybe the Korean side talking a lot about, you know, the intricacies of this matchup. I talked more about, you know, what the player matchup might look like and the narrative behind it.
I think the story here really just being that Dove hasn't gotten a massive advantage. It was a small one, but it's kind of waning here. His call that he picked up is going to be pretty nice for him. He's going to get some free money from that once that completes, as Zeka is just really putting the pressure on here in this matchup. Once again, we talk about melees, we talk about assassins for Zeka. That's his wheelhouse. He's pretty good at his ear, but, you know, he likes to play the Sylas. He likes to play the Akali. He enjoys those champions quite a bit more, and you can see it in this matchup that he's very well versed in. Set up for 2 of those really nice ganks for Pyosik. 3 really, I guess, in total.
Especially with the Vi, it's like, yeah, you get bullied heavily in the early game by the Azir, but the second you hit 6, And especially when you have the Everfrost and you have a Vi.
And Pyosik is just camping.
It's just like the closer just has to catch waves. Like all the prio immediately goes over to the side of DRX. And that means that maybe they can get the second Drake. Could be nice for them. They still have this bottom lane issue, which is going on. But I mean, Deft, outside of the one death on Beryl, Deft has been able to get a 10 CS lead. Very nice for him. And they're kind of stabilizing now.
Certainly true. I think the Sylas control of this mid matchup is due to Pyosik camping, and he gets the flash, right? He gets the steal away of the ultimate once that's back up, because it's a really long cooldown to take that one again, of course, on the Sylas hijack. But that amount of pressure has meant that Liv Sandbox had to take the streak very late. The lead that Liv Sandbox has isn't massive here. King is playing around this Vital very well.
Yeah. Duff's like, no, I will get the Vital.
It was actually really well played by both players there. And we talked about it would be amazing if Dove wins this one and says, I'm a top laner now. I'm no longer, a mid laner who's been flexed over. And I think despite not crushing this matchup, the way he's playing it, I mean, it really does show that he's really gotten comfortable in his role now. And I mean, obviously he's played a lot of tank. He's sat in the turret a lot this season. He's done that very well. He's played an insanely good weak side, and that's what he's been most famous for. But the fact that he can pull this Fiora out, now he's setting up for a gank for Krako with level 6 up on this Wukong. I mean, big opportunity.
Yeah. Setting up for this one. We've only had a couple of kills back and forth. The Lucian kill in bot, and then, of course, the Vi kill on mid.
I don't think he's selling this very well.
Yeah, I mean... You have to have King and all in onto you. You have to have him hookshot onto you, and even then, it's
King
like,
and checks. He's like,
difficult.
oh, there's no Wukong here. What are you doing? This is very strange. Has no ward in the river.
Still here is Krako. Still trying to make this happen.
Good warrior
is running up the river right now. He's going to be in position as Krako does come in. They try to get the burst down, but again, not going to happen. Dove dashes forward. Pyosik not going to go for it just yet. Perhaps he knows he was seen, and just going to let the top laners go back to the 1v1.
Yep, an ultimate expended for Krako. Pretty massive right before the Rift Herald fight. If they get a kill here, you feel amazing about it. You're like, all right, cool, we have the War of Attrition in our favor. We took out the Camille going into this fight, but now you have no Cyclone, actually, whereas Vi still has the Assault and Battery. So this ends up being pretty nice for DRX. They sussed it out very well, and they're going to set up for their own potential take here. No Zeri in the fight, though. Deft very slow to rotate. He says he's going to push.
Pyosik does have a second smite, but on the Rift Herald, and as you mentioned, okay, now Deft is coming up. A little bit late on this one, though. I think Liv Sandbox still in a fantastic position to take this one down. As the follow-up fight being looked for here, the smite not good for Pyosik, but he's going in. The riposte is perfect, and now Pyosik is out of position, but he will live. As Kingen is behind the wall, he's got Wild Growth, but he's going to go down as well. As now everybody is locked in here by the stolen Azir ultimate. Everybody getting burst down by Deft, just poked away here, but the soldiers are big as now the turn comes in, is huge from the side of Prince, and he will be able to clean up at least the one kill, and everybody's going down like a house of cards after that one. A fight on a knife's edge will go the way of Liv Sandbox.
It was almost cinematic the way that fight played out, because Deft is like, all right, they're locked in the pit. I'm Zeri. I'm going to bounce these shots. It's my moment. And then there's a moment as the wall falls down. Everybody's like, okay, can we actually win this? Can we get out of here? They're in the pit, but this is a beautiful riposte. Knock up here onto Zeka as well, blocks him out. And then all of Liv Sandbox are in this choke. And there's a moment where Deft is like, all right, wall's up here for Zeka. Deft's like, I'm just shooting fish in a barrel. And as the wall fades, DRX realized very quickly, like, oh, actually, we can't win this fight.
Yeah.
And it's just too little damage at this stage in the game. Liv Sandbox have such good turn and such good chase that you stuck around so long there, hoping that in the interim while that wall was up, that you were going to be able to do enough damage as Deft. And he's only sitting on one item. If it's a 2-item Zeri, maybe there's enough there, but it's not quite yet.
Yeah. Definitely a bit of a overextension from the side of DRX. We've seen this so many times from our Korean teams where they just feel this absolutely need to fight over the Rift Heralds. They felt like the fight would be on their terms with everything that was going on, but the entry into that fight was extremely messy. And Liv Sandbox just hold, wait until the exact moment, and then they pounce. And now they're getting everything. They got this mid turret. They have the second Drake as well, another Infernal Soul will be the choice here, same as game 1. And they also get that Mountain Drake. So
it's pretty incredible for Liv Sandbox that they have this, of course, with a 2 Drake lead. Croco prowling around here will not be able to find that pick. And the Drake advantage, we talk about it all the time with comps with Lucian, but this comp also has some really strong staying power in its mid lane, right? It's a scaling comp with the Lucian. It has pick potential, but it also has the Azir long-term damage. Azir has crowns, so it's very difficult to kill. And in this game, I do like it actually, considering the Sylas, considering the Camille lockdown. You're a big target. You and the Lucian are going to be under a lot of pressure in longer team fights.
Good into Zeri poke as well. You've seen that a lot. Really denies the first extendo beam. So it's like, well, if I get hit by that, he can't dodge them all. But if he does get hit by one, at least it does negate the damage.
It's funny how for a long time when these crown builds were coming out, we were like, yeah, but Zeri is so easy to crack the crown. But it's good that the crown is there when you get hit by that. It's actually quite significant that you have it. Uh-oh, Dove. Bit far forward here, no vision.
It's going to come down to the riposte to see if he can have any hope in this one. The riposte does not deny it, as the stun and the follow-up is just as simple as pie.
And he riposted the flash. Flash is down now. He just had no vision there to be that greedy. While they're also side laning here with Closer on top side. And they tried to 1-3-1 this. I mean, they have 2 strong side laning champions. With no vision like that against the Vi, maybe they could turn this into a cross-map dive onto Zeka, but he's already aware.
Yep, he knows this is coming in. Croco's still trying to force the issue. 1v1, though, not 100% sure about this. Zeka is going to say, okay.
He wanted to save his flash. He's got his own
I'm sure
cycle.
about it now. Take a look at the items here for Croco. He has 3 kills now. He has a BF sword going for a quick GA. So
second GA.
Actually a ton of damage. Now Pyosik just decides, hey, you know, take me too.
All right, so Dove makes a big mistake. Bottom side of the map, in the side lane, and then Liv Sandbox instantly, like, well, Sylas is overextended. Croco hits the knock-up, and Zeka, even with his own defensive Cyclone, cannot get out. And then while all Liv Sandbox members are on the top side, Pyosik, who is still ultless, decides he's going to come over there and look for a fight in the Zeri comp. Really not the right call there. You could definitely excuse Zeka being picked because this is happening here. He's trying to deal with that Azir pressure. He has a turret. And the second that Dove is going down, watch the minimap here. I don't know how long we're doing this replay, but the rotation up pretty quick. They're like, all right, we're going to push mid, come over, jump forward in time here. Zeka realizes, okay, they're going to try to make a cross-map onto me. Gets his own Cyclone here. He wants to save Flash. Unfortunately, the extended range gives Croco the kill. And then this fight over blue, you have Deft and Barrel here, but it's a Zeri. And, like, what's the plan here? What's the idea? This was a really unfortunate moment because it's a trade 1-for-1 you feel good about until it's not a 1-for-1 trade if Pyosik is walking in. And now that's a lot of extra money for Wukong, who's got his GA completed. We were talking about how he's close to it. He's got it.
He had big damage. Now he's got just really big survivability. He can go in on any fight, basically. This is going to be a free Baron. Doesn't look like DRX, even if they knew about it, they are pinging it now. But it is way too late, and they're not even going in on it. They're just going to take mid-turret and say, okay, that should be good enough. But a great call by Liv Sandbox with the lead to just go for a fast Baron will work out very well. And the mid-turret is going to be saved here as well. Extendo beam and a flash just to try to disengage.
Pyosik set up so much in this early game for the Sylas. Was on a utility build now behind an item here over Closer. And the magic resistance here across the board, very limited, let's say, for Liv Sandbox. The Azir is going to do a ton of damage. The heal deny is massive against Sylas. Pretty good against the Camille and the Vi. And the threat of the late game Lucian is starting to come through. He has his collector, so he can blow people up. Look at the gold across the board here. And
what is that support difference? What's going on there?
Yeah. Well,
how did that happen?
I think a lot of structures worth of gold he helps pick up, and he's got 7 assists to 0. 0-2-0 is Barrel's kill score at the moment. And, I mean, there's not a whole lot of AP threat because it's just a Sylas, so the GA's armor plus damage is massive here for Croco. He could basically set up any Cyclone he wants. And the side laning Fiora is now online, now a win condition. Now the Ravenous Hydra is ready, and you can see he's just going to town on these minion waves. And he's escorted by Croco, by team, because the Infernal is up, so they can actually make this play bottom side. And yeah, Silas is going to get bounty turret top side. When you're behind, trading evenly is always a good thing, right, is what we usually say here at the LCK. But Live Sandbox are trading up, and you're not even going to get the whole turret. TP comes through.
They get Infernal Drake, they get bottom turret, they save top turret. This is a landside, maybe the most one-sided game we've had so far.
Well, I mean,
although
last game was almost there, and then it turned at the end.
Sandbox definitely getting the better of DRX in these last couple of games in the early to mid. Obviously, game number 2 had a lot to do with the Kalista and the Trundle, but this one, pretty natural across the board. And now DRX, it feels like they have kind of gone into their turtle shell, just kind of waiting for maybe Def to pick up a third item, IE, or for Kingen to be a real side lane threat. But it feels like we're a little bit too far away from that one.
Yeah, it feels like I'm revisiting Game 2, except Deft is on a meta champion that he's hoping to have the clock be on his side with, or he's looking for a 3-4 item spike later on. I mean, in this game, let's see what he builds third, because LDR normally very strong in these moments, especially with a Fiora and Wukong running at you, but losing that Infinity Edge third item spike really hurts, but I don't know if he really has a choice. The problem is, similar to the last game, Live Sandbox have so much power on the map, so much extra vision.
Kyle's kind of alone here. He's going to take an immense amount of damage, but they're going all in on a Nami, who's just going to bubble them down, but a lot of damage coming out from Kingen. But here is Closer immediately. We will have the polymorph once again as Zeka going to be caught out here. Duff doing an intense amount of damage to him on the side, as that is just a trade, but it's just the support of Live Sandbox, so they kind of just shrug it off.
Yeah, they don't really care that much. Losing the Nami versus losing the Vi, so much pressure relieved, and you might feel okay with all of the ultimates that were used for Live Sandbox there if there was an objective up that they could fight over, but there isn't. And so Live Sandbox was like, all right, cool, we're still just going to push bottom. Very nice try is, yeah, Kyle is spotted out here, and this is like on the edge of residual vision. Like the spot out here for DRX is so barely there that this call is insanely risky because they don't have a ton of information. This polymorph stops the scoop. If Closer doesn't get polymorph there and hits a double knockback, this is actually a 3-for-1, very likely, and Live Sandbox actually maybe get an inhibitor. So that was a really nice call there from Barrel, at least to prevent a disaster.
Yeah.
But they're like fishing for anything that they can find here, and they find a Nami, but it's not going to change the overall state of the game. In fact, I'd say this is a much better trade for Live Sandbox overall.
Yeah, they're feeling pretty comfortable this time around. About 8,000 gold in the lead. You've got an extremely fed Lucian, but also the Wukong. I mean, Croco is just going to be cracking some skulls with what he's got going on at this point in time. He's even getting aggressive enough to steal away jungle camps, a significant amount of gold and experience, especially at this point in the game. Kingen struggling to find a real answer for himself, you know, trying to group up, trying to look for picks, as he doesn't want to push out and try to fight Dove, especially when his team doesn't have map control.
Oh. Okay, Croco, I mean, he's got a GA.
He can do whatever he
has
wants.
Cyclone. Like, it looks scary for him, but actually it's not. He's the best person to check this, and the 1-3-1 is going off without a hitch here, and they're just waiting for the next objective to spawn while they threaten inhibitors. Deft is like, okay, I got my BF sword. I'm going to get there. Eventually, I will get an IE, but even if he gets it, the amount of control Live Sandbox has, like, he will probably have it for the upcoming objective fight. I don't know how much gold he's sitting on. It might have been shown. I wasn't paying attention if it was, but if he does have it, doesn't mean they just win. It's not like it's Exodia. He just gets it and the game ends. He didn't catch the golden snitch. He will then have to play around a really nice engage from Kingen Pioshik with his Assault and Battery. Everything has to go right into a Wukong, into the Azir, into Nami's tidal wave. Kyle can just shut down the front line so easily with the press of the R. It's kind of like a budget Renata ultimate with the hostile takeover. And, I mean, it is really dire straits here for DRX in this game.
They just gotta put all the gold into depth and hope and pray, as Pioshik is basically just food at this point in time. Yeah, fourth death, not really gonna amount to too much. He's trying desperately to find any vision, any control of the map. It's kind of his job as the jungler in this case, especially with the Lulu. So, yeah, it should just be the Baron here, as DRX are like, maybe we can get this outer mid.
Yeah, outer mid for some bounty gold.
This time?
And they can try to push inner two, I suppose, but it's too greedy to go all the way, and they will just have to settle for getting Deft whatever money they can. They're going to give him the blue buff.
They ping the Drake. You guys are not getting that.
Nope. You're going to have to recall right now. But now it's too late. You will have to walk out. At least Kingen will get out here with a recall. Does have TP.
They can't
fighting for this. Does Deft even have enough for IE? I don't think so. It's got to be close.
I'm going to guess no.
I'm going to guess no as well. We'll find out in about a second and a half here. Okay, just barely has it, but he won't be there in time. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Not able to get enough gold and back and then be there on time. So this is Infernal Soul for Live Sandbox. Your 4-0 and 4 Lucian is found in this case. And we're about to have Death Cap here for Closer. Going to love all of those percentage stats. Is okay. A little setup here from DRX. Maybe trying to force a fight when Dove is not there. He doesn't have TP.
Closer is, he's Azir, he has Flash, he has ult, so he can't commit alone. 1v1, Pyosik can't, and then the wave comes through with Baron buff. And now it's too late. They have to flank one more time, one more chance.
Okay, there's the flank. They're going to kill Kyle again. Eventually, they get him. Closer is going to be locked down, but immediate stopwatch comes out from Kingen as they do an incredible amount of damage, but just feels kind of desperate. As now Deft, though, he's got a front line. He does land that ultimate, and he's just going to skate away, trying to bounce some shots here, getting some decent damage in, but Closer still alive, is going to hop forward now.
Croco
fighting still in. Croco getting pretty low, but so is Deft, and eventually Dove will just shut him down. The flash comes in, and Live Sandbox nearly looking to end this game.
Yeah, Croco's so low, but it doesn't matter. Just wants to come in here and say this is the end. TP comes bottom side where the open inhibitor is. Closer's full health, and I think they will be able to end the game. Croco has GA if there was anyone who could kill him. Kingen at full health, but he's going to struggle.
He's trying, and yeah, he's not really going to be able to do much. Does a bit of chunk damage onto Dove. They are delaying a little bit, but no spawns will come in. Barrel goes down, and Live Sandbox will take a dominant game 3 and will be on match point from here on out.
One last try, one last attempt. The Kingen flank there with Pyosik, and they lock down the Nami. That they try to turn the fight there. Stopwatch is burned, but then in comes Wukong.